Hey everyone, welcome back to Malaysia in Focus, where we break down the stories shaping our nation. Today we're zeroing in on a number that pretty much defines the hopes and fears of hundreds of thousands of young Malaysians, 3,000 ringgit. Because what you're about to learn changes how we understand the value of a university degree in Malaysia today.
All right, so let's get right into it. For as long as I can remember, and probably you too, there's been this golden number for fresh graduates in Malaysia. You know, it's the benchmark, the goalpost, that one figure that's supposed to tell you, okay, I've made it.
And yep, that number is 3,000 ringgit. For decades, this has been the magic figure, right? The salary every new degree holder is told to aim for. It's meant to be the sign that you're off to a good start in your professional career.
But let's be real for a second. We all feel it. The cost of everything is just going up and up. So we have to ask the tough question. In 2026, does RM3000 actually cut it anymore? Is it still a solid foundation for your future? Or could it be something else entirely? Well, the answer is way more complicated than you might think.
So, to really figure this out, we have to put that RM3000 salary to the ultimate test. We're going to see how it holds up against the most basic thing, the actual cost of living. Can you really live a decent life on this salary in a big city like KL?
To get our answer, we're not just guessing. We're going to use a really useful guide called Belanjawanku from the EPF. Now, this is important. This guide isn't about the bare minimum you need just to survive. It actually calculates the cost for a decent standard of living. That means having enough for your essentials, but also for a social life, and maybe a tiny bit left over. You know, to actually live, not just exist.
Okay, let's break down the numbers for a single person who owns a car and lives in the Klang Valley. Right off the bat, housing, that's about RM 1,100. Food, 500. Transport, another 450. You add in utilities, personal care, and a bit for social life, and the total minimum you need is $2,600. So from a $3,000 gross salary, you're left with just $400. And that's before any deductions.
And that's the real kicker, isn't it? Once you factor in your EPF, your SOXO, and income tax, that RM3000 shrinks even more. That $400 buffer we just talked about, poof, it's gone. You're left with basically nothing for savings, for an emergency, or for paying back those student loans. You are essentially living paycheck to paycheck from your very first job.
Now, if you're feeling like you're stuck running in place, you're not just imagining it. And this isn't some new problem that just popped up. To really get why RM3000 feels so tight, we need to zoom out and look at a trend that's been quietly happening for over 20 years.
Just listen to this. This is a truly shocking finding from PMB research. Let me say that again so it sinks in. After you adjust for inflation, a graduate in 2022 earned less money in real terms than a graduate in the exact same position back in 1997. Your purchasing power, what your ringgit can actually buy, has gone down.
And this graph, wow. This graph just shows the problem so clearly. The top line there is the median salary for degree holders. See how flat it is? For more than a decade, while the cost of everything went up, the actual value of a graduate starting salary has gone absolutely nowhere. This right here, this is the heart of the issue, wage stagnation.
If this breakdown is giving you a clearer picture, hit like and subscribe so you'll always stay ahead on Malaysia's biggest issues.
Okay, so we've seen that the big picture is pretty tough. But of course, RM3000 is just an average. The reality on the ground is that your field of study and the industry you get into can make a huge, huge difference.
Let's just do a quick side-by-side comparison. On one hand, you've got these high-demand fields like IT and technology. If you've got skills in AI or cybersecurity, a fresh grad can easily ask for a starting salary of RM3,500, maybe even over RM4,000. But then, on the other hand, you have a sector like hospitality, which is still recovering from the pandemic, and they might be offering somewhere between RM2,200 and RM2,800. The gap is just massive.
So where's the money at? Well, the data is pretty consistent. It points to a few key areas. Oil and gas, that's still a top payer. Banking and financial services, engineering, and of course, IT and software development. That's where you'll generally find the higher starting salaries. Oh, and there's one more special category we need to talk about.
So, knowing all of this, how can you start your career smarter? I mean, it's pretty clear that just having a degree isn't the golden ticket it used to be. You need a strategy. The good news is there are specific pathways out there that are actually designed to give you a higher starting pay and, maybe more importantly, much faster career growth.
One of the best-known routes is the Management Trainee Program, or what everyone calls an MT program. These are super competitive programs run by big companies, and their whole purpose is to groom their future leaders. They invest a lot in you, and that investment starts with your salary.
For most of these MT programs at big multinational companies or local giants, the starting salary is already way above average. We're talking somewhere between RM3,500 and RM5,000. That's a serious step up from that old RM3,000 benchmark.
But wait, it can get even better. For the really, really elite MT programs, think top tech firms or big investment banks, the starting pay can be, honestly, astronomical for a fresh graduate. We're talking as high as 12,000 ringgit a month. It just goes to show you what the absolute peak potential is right out of university.
Now, another pathway worth looking into is the government's Protege program. It's technically a training contract, but it gives you priceless experience, often with GLCs. The allowance isn't bad either, from RM2,000 to RM3,600, and it often acts as a direct bridge to getting a permanent, well-paying job there.
So, after looking at the cost of living, the whole wage stagnation issue, and all the different career paths, let's circle all the way back to our original question and try to land on a final, clear answer.
So, is RM3,000 a good starting salary in 2026? The truth is, it depends. We've seen that on its own, it's barely enough to get by. So, the real question you should be asking isn't about the starting number itself. It's about the future. It's about the potential for growth that job offers you. This is how you really need to think about it. An RM3,000 offer can be a fantastic stepping stone if it's with a company that has a clear path for you to grow. A place with good training, guaranteed yearly raises, and real chances for promotion. But that same RM3,000 offer can be a financial trap if it's at a dead-end company with no future, no upskilling, and no way for you to ever earn more.
Thanks for watching. Join thousands of Malaysians who want clarity, not confusion. Tap like, hit subscribe, and let's keep making sense of this together.
Because at the end of the day, the number on your very first payslip is just the start of the story. The much more important question you need to ask yourself is this: is this first job a launch pad for your future, or is it a dead end? Something to think about.